Okay, we've been talking about books that we've read and how they help us and how they've given you a really good idea of what video game history is like. We have hackers where we talk about the people who just consider everything open. They have the open source mentality. They think all video games or all computer science should just be open so that people can twiddle with it as they want. But then you have the Steve Jobs and Facebook people who kind of have this desire to control and have this nationalistic mentality about it. And other books about people just trying to make it and how they have to do things. And it's not always a perfect situation for everybody. Like Nintendo during the '90s basically considered themselves a ball company, not a that happens to make video games, instead of a video game company that every now and then has to deal with a lawsuit, or how all these things had to happen. You have to look into it. And people and these books and the previous books, the authors each went in and they interviewed as many people as they could to understand that culture and what was really going on as best they could. There might be some doubts. There might be an attempt to sell the novelization, but they did the best they could. So you have to be like, oh yeah, there's a certain point where we can't talk about these subjects because it might actually get somebody killed. So we can't go past this certain point, but you can get a good idea of what it is through this. All right. So now source material is, if you want, you've already got a good idea of the history, but you kind of want to get details, a lot more details. This is what source material is. It's more of the Phoenix history of video games than it is the jacked history of Grand Theft Auto. Much more, detail oriented than it is about, giving any narrative idea. So let's go in. Okay, the arcade experience by Adam Platt is by an arcade owner in Utah. He runs a website called the Arcade Heroes. It is pretty much the website for people who want to know about arcades coming out and that are out in the U.S. Also, it talks about arcade games, both indie games and other games, and he basically gives you an idea of what the arcade culture in modern times is like. And he talks about some of the history of arcades. He doesn't go way back into history to the Nick Costa times. He goes into modern. He starts off at like the '90s and just goes from there. And his book is more of an ethnology of what the culture is like, what it's like to run an arcade from an arcade owner's point of view. And he gives a fascinating talk. I actually wanted to write an ethnology on arcade culture, and he already wrote it, so I'm down a book. Good job, Pratt. But he runs an absolutely amazing website. I've got friends who help out with that, so totally a book you should read. And he really talks about this concept in our minds that the arcade is dead. And he says no, arcades are doing fine. Yes, they've had down periods, but if you've ever looked at the history of arcades, they've had down periods, but that hasn't destroyed them. 1930s had down periods for arcades. The 1950s and 60s had down periods. These have been coming and going for hundreds of years, but the arcade has remained. So you shouldn't be looking at it from, oh, well, these were the games I enjoyed, and, the arcade looks different now. No, the arcade has stayed, and it's kept the culture in new and different ways. And it's a great look at how he looks at these and says, look, the arcades, they're doing well, and this is why, and this is what you would find in them, and this is the reason, why I believe that arcades are very important even today, while others are constantly talking about, arcades dying. Speaking of which, there are actually more arcades in Seattle today than there were 10 years ago. It's been rising and it's getting to the point that some of the arcade conventions in Seattle are having a hard time showing off because they're like, well, look at all these games we've got, and people are like, well, we can play those games now. And a lot of the people who have been collecting games have started their own arcades. so they're not bringing all the really cool games to the shows anymore. So it's an interesting thing, this back and forth between, the love of the game and the love of, trying to get the arcade to work. So I highly recommend the arcade experience as kind of a reference to see what the culture is like, what in the culture moves us to play within the culture. And you should totally read it as a quick reference to, when people say things or how people talk about things, to be like, oh, wait, there's this counterpoint, or oh, hey, this is what arcades are for. So that's really useful. Okay, arcadehistory.com is actually now a gaming history website. It is an amazing database. It starts off at somewhere like 100 BC. And yes, it's only one entry, and then it takes about 1,000 years for the next entry, but seriously, it starts off at 100 BC. That's amazing. And then, it tries to talk about all of the coin-op games throughout history, and they did the best they could, and then they started to go into gambling games, and then they started to go into computer games and console games. So this is one of the best databases on gaming in general. And you can just start off, when I started doing my research, I asked Steve Kent, do you have a good resource for me to do research on arcade history? He said, well, you should talk to this guy, but, you should actually do my research before that. I'm just like, I've got nothing. Where do I go? And so I found arcadehistory.com, and it's literally, you just start off, okay, I'm going to start off with the first year, and I'm just going to slowly build up, just see every single game I can, to see kind of the common things. And so I followed arcade games, both gambling and all of that, from, the 1860s and early or late 19th century to today, and kind of the games that were promoted. I watched as pinball took over, and other arcade games kind of moved to the side. The Gumball Machine story that I told you a couple of times, it's from this website. This is a website that will give you a ton of information, and it's really, really impressive. I don't think they have every single game. In fact, the closer it gets to modern times, the less chance you're going to find that game, or a specific game. But in general, it's amazing. I have found games that I didn't even know existed. It has pictures of them. It has information on them. It has the adverts for those games, and it goes okay. And it gives details and the innards of those machines. So this is an incredible resource for those who are just like, okay, what was this year like for video games? And you grab your Phoenix as a resource, and then you grab this, and you have a lot of information right there. So you can kind of see the history there, the details there, and then you're going to have to find some other books and some other websites to get kind of the culture of what was going on to build off that. But man, this is a great resource, so you should totally check it out. Okay, on to the next slide. System 16 is very specific. Although System 16 is a type of arcade game, or type of arcade hardware, innards, the little ones and zeros bits, for Sega, it actually covers most of the modern arcade games, even to today. And they have, everything from Atari to SNK. This is it has pictures of the hardware, how it looked, and it has information on all of the details of how things worked and what each little bit of innard was. And then it shows pictures of the games that were released for these innards. And so you can find a lot of more information about this stuff. It's very scant in, giving you any descriptions of these games or what they were like, but the pictures are really good. I'm fairly certain that he upscaled all the pictures because they look really vibrant and really nice, and it actually looks nicer than it does on the screen, so I think he did some wizardry there, but it's still really impressive. And this is SNK, Neo Geo NDS hardware. I'm a Neo Geo fan, so I was just like, oh, gotta do this page because the front page kind of looks boring. But this website gives a lot more details of yeah, the 70s through 90s or 70s through modern times of how the arcades worked, how they looked, how they felt, just single machines, how the games kind of maneuvered forward. And as much as arcade history is amazing, they kind of missed certain details. So System 16 is there to kind of fill in those details. And it's absolutely amazing. The guy who runs it is obviously a Sega fan, and so he will do mostly Sega things. He's pretty much finished his website, and he's updating slowly, but he's doing major updates, like lots of pictures and tons of information about a game or how that hardware worked, so that you can have a lot more information, but he's not updating as much. So, enjoy System 16. It's really one of my favorite sites. Sometimes I'm just bored. I'm like, let's go to System 16. Namco, 246. Oh, yeah. That looks like a fun game. Yeah, I should look this up on YouTube. Oh, speaking of which, YouTube is excellent. If you see games that you're just like, I have no idea what this is, you just look it up on YouTube, and somebody has a video on it. And that is so useful. And I wanted to do a YouTube selection for sources, but I don't know how to properly do that. I don't want to steal from them to show you, and all of that is a lot of work. So, and I'm trying to keep these slides as simple as I can. That's the entire reason why they're now like 30 minutes long. Is I made the slides really simple, so that I could just talk to you and give you information, rather than make really well edited slides with very little information, but very quick, cool looking. So I'm sorry I couldn't do a YouTube video selection, but just go to YouTube, go to various video sites, and just be like, okay, I am looking for coin slot games from the 1930s, and they would have pictures and stuff. Oh, Pinterest is also useful in that same way. You can look up, general terms, and they will give you a bunch of pictures and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, that's what it was. I didn't know. My favorite example is from the 1970s. Sega released a game where an elephant picked up a ball and put it into a thing, and all I had was the advert for it, just a little piece of paper, and it didn't really show the game working. So I didn't know how it worked. And it looked fascinating to me. So I looked it up on YouTube, and somebody had found it and filmed himself playing it. And that was all I needed to know on how it worked. So that was a great resource. So System 16 and Arcade History and others, we give you information. And if you're ever like, I don't know, what is that? YouTube is very, very useful. But you should check out System 16 just because of the really nice pictures in and of itself. You're bored, you're like, hey, what were some of the games for this particular hardware? And just go down a list. It's a lot of fun. I might actually be boring because I just told you something I do when I'm bored. So what do you do? Well, I look at pictures of video games. Okay, the ArcadeMuseum.com is part of the killer list of video games and the Museum of the Game, and there's actually a couple of different titles here. Clog is also a forum, and that is one of the major arcade forums to check out. So if you have a question on, hey, I've got an old asteroid, and I'm seeing this weird flickering going on, what should I do? And somebody there will be like, oh, what you've got is, the vector program hasn't quite worked out. It's this chip. Make sure to check its power ratings on it. It might be overpowered, so then you can go check these parts over here. And they'll have tons of information. You can talk to them and stuff. So that's great as an owner of an arcade game. But as somebody who's trying to do research, this is a great source as well. They have scans of magazines from the 1920s talking about arcade games. They have adverts and pictures and information on all sorts of games. It's not as won't have as many games as the Arcade History website, and some of the things will be kind of missing, like on System 16, but it will have information and pictures and possibly videos of all sorts of games. The closer you get to the 90s and further, the better you're off. It kind of tapers off around the 2000s, so you have these details that you're not going to quite get, but you will have a lot of details for those eras, and it is an amazing resource. The best part about it is it will tell you, okay, you want to play this game, here's the closest game, here's the closest person with it, and that is just amazing. I mean, don't go to somebody's house and be like, hey, can I play this game? I know you own it, but get in contact. Don't swarm people. I'm not expecting swarms of people, but be nice. Know what I mean? But there is so much information on this website. Just the magazines alone are great. But there is one problem with the magazines: is they scan each page and have it as its own PDF. So you have to go, okay, next page. And you have to wait for it to load. Then you go next page. And then you have to wait for it to load. And you go next page. You have to wait for it to load. You have to, you don't have as much of an ease to get through the magazines as I would have enjoyed, because there's just this weird little backlog loading process you gotta work on. But it's the only website with these scans, so you better enjoy it. Atomic Age magazine. That's actually a really fun one. Just people are like, ooh, you can play this game now. Ooh, hey, what's new with technology today? Oh, my, those dance halls, they're getting some new tech. Those radio machines. Ooh, so you should check out arcademuseum.com, the KLOV website, that stuff. Just because it's got so many details and so much stuff that other people just don't have. And you'll also find people who are just really into arcade games in and of itself. So if you do want to own an arcade game, these are the guys to really talk to if you're in the US. The other guys are UK. But there's another one for the UK, and I believe there's others for European sites. And same in Japan and blah blah blah. But KLOV is great as kind of a meeting ground for all arcade owners to meet, so long as you speak English. Sorry. But it's a great resource, and you should really check it out. Okay, video game console library is very specific. All it talks about is consoles. It shows the consoles. It talks about the power of the consoles, how they work, the controllers, and how they work. All these, okay, what are the eras? I chose the game controller history as the thing, so that you could see, kind of how they view history. And I'm actually going to make a video about, the different eras of game controllers, or how we control games, because that's a better idea rather than looking at the hardware. See how the controls changed. But the video game console library has just information and reviews on every single console ever released, or to the best of my knowledge. I mean, they have obscure games like the IQ or the Amstrad GX4000, stuff like that. You're not going to find a lot of information on these anyway, and they give good detailed information, give you all the details on the innards and how they worked, and the games that were released, and what it was kind of like to play them. So it's a really good website if you need information on consoles directly. The people are pretty cool about it, and I enjoyed reading it. I don't go to it as much as I go to System 16, but I'm sure you can understand why. Sorry, just read Knob. Anyway, it's a really good resource if you want to get into any information on console video games, and you should totally go to it. I don't think there's a lot more information. A lot more I can give you. It's basically the system. It's basically System 16 or KLOV for consoles. So that's really good. archive.org has oh wow, it is one of the most amazing resources I've ever found. I have found old The Shadow Knows radio shows on this because they ran out of their copyrights or whatever it was, and you could just listen to them, and just old radio shows. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard some of these in a long time, because I'm a time traveler. But it is really useful. The Wayback Machine that you see right at the center, you type in the URL, and then you say, okay, I want it from this year. You can actually look at the website, and some of the information that they've actually removed will be on that machine. And archive.org is a really useful thing because people try to hide their mistakes, or they try to hide, okay, this didn't really happen. And archive.org will very likely have a download of it. There's only one story I know of where the people were able to go in and even remove it from archive.org. And Guru Larry has a great video on that single story. It's Hunter or something. It was supposed to be this great Grand Theft Auto game that Sony had made, but it turned out to be a failure, and Sony straight up stopped it. But archive.org not only has stuff on websites, but it also has arcade games on it. It also has console games on it. It also has, pamphlets and information for you to read. And so you can go here and just be like, oh, I want to know more about this game. And so long as it's in the archive, you can play it. It'll be a little bit like trying to get a joke in ancient Sanskrit. There's going to be a lot lost, and you probably won't laugh, or not for the right reasons anyway. But you'll get an idea. You'll be like, oh, this is what it looked graphically. This is kind of how it worked. Okay. Like if you're trying to play a driving game, a two-player driving game, good luck. They actually have arcade. They actually have the old Fire Truck arcade game from the 1970s. It's a great game, but it involves two different steering wheels, and without those steering wheels, the game really doesn't play the same. And there's other things that are just kind of you can't copy. So this is to give you an idea, but it's not an exact detailed work. However, just archive.org in and of itself is just amazing for what it has. It has old magazines scanned, and you can just quickly go in and read them. And it has old commercials, and it has old books, and it has old websites. I know of websites that just go, or I know of forums where they go, do not give me a link to this website directly. I want it on archive.org because I know that that website can remove this article or remove this thing, but archive will have it. So make sure to archive it off archive.org and then send me the link to archive. And that's a major change in the way you think. Video games or internet culture now has this open thing where anything you say, people will find it, unless you're Sony. So, this is a major resource. I don't think I've even come close to plumbing the depths of this amazing little resource. So you should do this for all sorts of reasons, not just video game culture, but you want to go into TV culture, there you go. You want to go into old radio culture, it's got it. Old programs, it's got that. Oh, you want to run this? It's got that. I actually ran a program for a game for the Apple II. I don't know if it was the Apple or what it was, but it was by Sierra Online. It was written by one guy who's actually a music teacher, and he would only use 50 words for the entire game. So that it was easy to read. And of course, I played it when I was in like 2nd and 3rd grade, and I found it on archive.org, and I was able to play it the way it was made. So that should give you an idea of the resources you have. You can go in and you can find things that nobody else would have even thought of having, and you can save and really is hard to describe everything you can use for this website. So check it out and just go a little nuts. Please understand that some of these things are copyrighted, and so the companies will get a hold of archive.org and be like, no, sorry, those are ours. You can't use them yet. And archive will be like, okay, yeah, we understand. Or yes, Sony, we understand. Please don't kill us. Thank you. Retromags.com is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a bunch of retro video game magazines scanned so that you can read them. They don't have everything in there, but they have enough so that you can see, what the magazines were talking about at that time. A lot of YouTubers and others use this website, or use websites like this, to kind of find out, what the ideas were. And they'll just be like, oh, hey, it's this. And I found that there's a few websites out there. I'm just showing you RetroMags, but there's others where you can just go in and just find all the information you can on all sorts of, magazines and player guides and stuff like that to find out, the way people thought at that time, or at least the way people were told to think at that time. And it's an amazing, amazing set of resources. This is way better than any of the academic databases I've found. The academic websites or databases will actually scan the magazines and completely screw up the pictures. It'll be, just this rough, it looks like they put it on a copier and they put it in like ultra dark copy machines so they can get the words, but not the pictures. And it's really, really annoying. Whereas RetroMags and others, they do a color scan, and it is really way better than than any of the academic websites will do. So, this is a great way to find out how others are doing it. In the same way that Leonard Herman did his research, you can do your research. You can be like, okay, what were the opinions on these games at this time? And you can just look up, those games or magazines from those eras, and you can just be like, okay, these were the reviews. This is how people thought about them. This is the general opinion. These are some letters in to the editor on these subjects. So, you can get a really good idea of how video game culture was. And you can also see, not joking, you would actually find articles from Steve Kent, Leonard Herman, and all the others from the books I recommended. They will be in these magazines. So it'll be fun to be like, oh, hey, this reads just like this chapter. And you'd be right. So that's something for you to check out. So retro scanned magazine websites are really, really useful. So be on the lookout for them. I'm showing you RetroMags, but there are others, so that you know, and you should be actively looking for them. Don't look up the academic ones; they're terrible. Hardcore Gaming 101 has become an absolutely amazing resource. To give you an idea, let's take that off. Oh, you can now see all the games I run, or the programs I usually run. Look at all of those tabs. I'm so sorry. But Hardcore Gaming 101 is just people talking about games in a very hardcore way. You look up Strider, you will find out they will give several paragraphs describing the arcade game, how it felt, how it worked, and why it was enjoyable. And it will give more of a cultural idea of that video game. And then it'll go, okay, then there was Strider 2, then there was this game that was released by the creator of Strider, but it's not a Strider in the idea that it was called Strider, but it was exactly the same game. And, you'll get a lot more details. That's my dog. She's looking at me. And she wants to go outside so much. She's like, oh, come on. Okay, can you use that again? Okay. But the website is getting so big that they're starting to release books, and they've got editors from some major websites. the Castlevania dungeon back in the 90s was the website if you wanted to find anything about Castlevania. And the editor for Castlevania Dungeon works on Hardcore Gaming 101. And then he released a book on Castlevania from the Hardcore Gaming 101 label. So that should give you an idea of, just the depths of information. You're going to find reviews, you're going to find information on these games, you're going to find pictures, and it's just a ton and ton of stuff you can use. They've got videos, and you should totally check it out. It won't give you as much technical specs as System 16 or arcade history, but that's okay. This is more of the cultural idea of these games and how they fit within ideas. And you can just see them kind of geeking out for every single game they write about, because they go in hardcore. They really talk about it as if they love these games and why these games are. So Hardcore Gaming 101 really is a website for you to check out and really look at. I highly recommend it for any research you're doing, or just if you're bored, you can just go, okay, this game. Let's see more information about this game, and you can just read it while you're at work and you're scanning something, or you're waiting for something to load. You can just read it and then be like, oh, okay, let's load it. Okay, come back to this website, and that's really going to help you out. So sorry that you have to see my tabs and all that. Sorry. Okay, so what I've shown you is resources and sources for you to use, and these are great sources. If you want to just kind of get a very detailed bit of information about the history of video games, each one of these websites would be incredibly useful. Archive.org, it's become this thing, a phenomenon in and of itself, just so that you can find out information that people don't want you to know about. And then there's Arcade History or Clav that can just give you detail upon detail of when this game came out and how you felt about it and all this stuff. System 16 has these great pictures, and it gives very detailed information about the specs of games from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even up to today. And these are great resources. The Arcade Experience book, it really does give a great ethnology on the arcade culture of modern times. And we don't have anything else like that. So we really need more ethnologies on that subject. So, use these as sources. Don't use them as, a chance to just, I'm going to read an entire book, because you're not going to finish arcade history in a single sitting. You're not going to finish it in a second sitting. I had, at one point while reading arcade history, I had about 102 tabs open from a single year, and that was only the first page. And I just went, okay. And I was actually limiting the amount of things I was looking at. So these websites are just incredibly in-depth for any information you need. And you should use them so that you can find out more information about video game and video game culture. The next thing we're going to talk about is historical engineering. That's a bit of an interesting subject because in our minds, engineering is only kind of a modern idea, but historical engineering is where you look at the resources of an era and you try to rebuild it, or even do things with it. But that is for the next video. Catch you later.